What do you think men most need to hear in our current culture, our current cultural moment, I suppose.
100%, man. Like I think men need to know that you're not alone. I think it's easy for us as men to be ostracized and or isolated, to believe that there's not a safe place for us to really find freedom. And I think men need to know that you can be the man that your wife saw when she said yes to you at the altar. You can be the hero to your son. You can be the first love to your daughter. You can set the standard that would transform the legacy of your family. You can be the patriarch. You can be the man that you desire to be. And
Mm.
if you're willing to bet on yourself and put yourself in a position by being in a community of other men who will call you up, not call you out, and lean into the awkward, lean into the space where you feel uncomfortable and get comfortable, that you can truly find the vision that lives on the inside of your heart, and you can see it come to pass.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm joined by Mondoe Davis, who's a coach with Rise Up Kings, and he is truly a big hitter, former NFL player, pastor, incredible man of God, great leader, 11 children, so he's been fruitful and he's multiplied. And I'm excited to dive into it with him. Mondo, just tell us your story, man.
Yeah,
Anything and everything.
absolutely. First off, honored to be here, Andrew. Thank you so much, brother. And man, I grew up in a home with a father who served 20 years in the Army. My mother was a maximum security correctional officer in an all-male prison. I don't even know how that worked out. And I'm like, Mom, why did you choose an all-male prison? And my mom is amazing. But yeah, man, played every sport, oldest of three boys. And man, just realized at an early age my desperate need for a savior. So 16 years old, had an opportunity to go to a youth Bible study in Newport News, Virginia. And me and my best friend, Josh and Jose, all got saved, man. I just remember the opportunity for the salvation call and walking up and giving my life to Christ and realizing that I was so far from him and how desperately I needed him. And that moment was a moment of gratitude and overwhelming joy when we circled up and, after giving our lives to Christ, made a declaration that we would hold one another accountable to be the men that God has called us to be. And at 16, I was so excited about my salvation that I said, God, I want to give a gift back to you. So I took the athletic ability that he gave me and began to dream about something that I could do to glorify God with my life. And the thing that popped in my mind was going to the NFL. So that was the beginning. That was the genesis of the journey of me pursuing that NFL career. And man, the problem is that I was in a school that was brand new and we didn't have a senior class my freshman year. And we went 0-10 for 3 years in a row. So imagine trying to pursue this dream to get a scholarship to college and go to the NFL, but yet you're in a school where you can't even win a football game. So we went 0-30, 3 years in a row, not one game. And it was so humiliating that we got beat. I remember Hampton High School beat us 88-0. And I was like, man, I can't believe this is happening. So if you think about wanting to quit, like I had every reason for that. And I had UVA, other big schools like Miami, University of Oklahoma, big 1A schools coming and recruiting me. I started getting letters my senior year. Don't even know how it happened. Wound up with a duffel bag filled with letters. UVA showed up in my classroom. We had these big glass windows, and two coaches came up and pulled me out of class that had been recruiting me for the last year and a half. And they looked at me when I walked out of the door, and they just said, "You're too small." And they turned and just walked away. I was like, dude, like really? A year of letters from you guys, and you took 2 seconds to look at me and say, so it was humiliating. It was in front of my class. I remember it was my public speaking class, and I was sitting there and I came back in with my head down, and I just thought, man, so I don't know how this is going to work out. And I wound up getting a full scholarship to University of Delaware, Fighting Blue Hens. Chose that school because they had a tradition of winning. Fast forward, I graduated 3 years, got my
What was your
master's.
position, Mondo?
I played linebacker. So I was a linebacker, middle linebacker. And I wound up getting my degree in 3 years. And then we wound up going to the national championship. We won that game 40-0. And I will tell you, Andrew, it felt a lot better to be on that side than being the one with the goose egg. So I was grateful for that. And then the following year, we wound up getting a conference championship. So won 2 championships at the University of Delaware, got my master's degree, and then met my college sweetheart. Her and I, we've been together since we were 19 years old. So it's been 23 years. You can do the math on that. And it's been amazing. We do have 11 children, 1 set of twins in there, 7 girls, 4 boys. And it's never a dull moment. So powerful woman, beautiful woman, most beautiful woman on the planet, man. I'm so grateful for her. But yeah, so with that being said, fast forward, got the opportunity with the Jets and got picked up as an undrafted free agent. And I remember, man, walking by the mirror, seeing the logo on my helmet and thinking, Lord, that 16-year-old boy is standing before you right now in this mirror. And I'm so grateful that you got me here. Wow. And I just remember seeing my name on the back of the jersey, thinking about all the guys that I had watched on TV up to that moment. And we get into the first game. We're playing against the Detroit Lions. And Coach Herman Edwards said, hey, Mondo, you're in, third quarter. So I got in, running back. We're playing man-to-man defense. The running back runs out. I'm guarding the running back. I run out too. The quarterback throws him the ball. He looks up under the night lights. Ball bounces off his face mask. I'm right there. Boop, catch that ball, and I'm running back for a touchdown. And my foot steps out of bounds. I don't care. I threw the ball in the air. I'm celebrating with all my teammates. I'm like, dude, we just got it. First play of the game. In my first NFL game, and I get an interception. Like we're going all
Who'd you pick off? Who threw the ball?
I don't even remember. I don't remember. But I was just so ecstatic. It didn't matter. So fast forward, coach like, hey, next game you're starting against the Vikings. Kickoff. So we go off on kickoff. I'm running down the field, balls kicked, whistles blown, and then boom, I hit the wedge. So those who don't know what the wedge is, when 3 or 4 guys come together, and that running back's behind them, and you got to break that wedge if you're the first one down. So I hit that thing, and everything goes black. And I'm like, dude, what just happened? My leg feels like a wet noodle. Well, they put me on the little meat wagon. They take me to the locker room. They do some tests on my leg. And then they come back and say, Mondo, we have good news and bad news. Which one do you want first? I say, give me the bad news. I said, the bad news is you tore your ACL up so bad that it's going to be a minimum 18-month recovery for you. I said, well, what could possibly be good news after that? And they said, the good news is we still want you to be a New York Jet. So it was in that moment, Andrew, where I felt like the enemy had his foot on my neck and he had me pinned to the mat. And I was watching my dream just go down the drain. And I was thinking, Lord, like, really? All of high school, all of college with no injuries. And now, like, at the very beginning of stepping into this dream. And it was in that moment, man, where the enemy whispered in my ear in my most vulnerable spot, hey, NFL for you means not for long. You're done. And God said, no, son, NFL for you means newfound life. Now you're about to step into your true destiny to inspire leaders to be transformed, set free, to fulfill their God-given destiny. So I'm going to take your pain. I'm going to turn it into your platform. I'm going to take your vulnerability and make it a victory. And that's where another man saw something in me I didn't see in myself and invited me to come with him. And it was after 3 years. I played in the Canadian Football League for a season in Montreal. I played in Montana. And it was after 3 years total in all 3 of those different leagues that I decided it was time to move forward. So I went and started traveling with this evangelist. And fast forward 14 months from there, and I've been to 30 countries around the world. And it was
that I didn't know. Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Man, really, really cool. So that season ended in 2009. Then I went to Bible school for 3 years, and then after that, started a health and wellness business. My wife and I, and then simultaneously we're in ministry as pastors, and I did that for over a decade. But yeah, man, it's been quite the journey, and I'm really, really grateful. And then 2 years ago, came over here to be a part of Rise Up Kings to help see men's lives completely transformed. So with that vision of inspiring leaders to be transformed and set free, I feel like it's a hand and glove fit with the vision of Rise Up Kings. And for the last 2 years, I've met amazing men like yourself and many others. And I've been honored with the privilege to see many lives transformed. So
were you, and what was the connection to Rise Up Kings? It was through Coach John, right? Or how did you get?
So Coach David and I, so Pastor David and I serve on the board of a church together because I was doing some church consulting. And as a church consultant, I was helping churches to just reach their full potential, get in alignment, vision, stuff like that. So one of his church was one of the churches that I was a consultant for. And that's how he and I built a relationship. And then the pastor of another church asked both of us to be board members and hold him accountable. And that's how he and I started building a relationship. So he had come through Rise Up Kings, and then he invited me to come through as well.
Well, so talk about, I mean, you know, different, totally like whirlwind of a journey. But so
Yeah.
talk about now what you get to do inside of Rise Up Kings. Like what kinds of activities besides the coaching, the refinery and coaching, like what are some of the different things that you're responsible
Oh man,
for?
100%, man. So I love it because I get to touch the guys coming in and all the way through their journey until they, continue to matriculate through our process here, which we call the path to mastery. So when guys are interested, they see an ad, they click on it, someone refers them. I usually hop on the phone with these guys as an enrollment coach and just have a conversation with them to see if it's a good fit. If it is, then we're going to get them set up for an event. And then I operate as a head coach for the awakening, and I have some parts in the refinery as well for business owners. Uh, so help coach the guys through the event as they come through. And then on the backside of the events, I also do a lot of the training as well. So we have a post-event training to help the guys maximize the effectiveness of what they learned in their transformation to be sustainable. In addition to that, we do a sprint that's 90 days, and I lead a lot of those calls as well. And then I also lead a lot of the mastermind trainings that we have for the greater community as well. So we have a conference that we do. I'm one of the speakers at the conference. I'm also an MC. There's just a lot of different things that I do, and many things that I really can't even articulate. It's just really caring for the guys and just being there for them through their journey.
Well, I mean, it's an incredibly unique organization. So I'd be curious to know, like, you've been in all sorts of ministry. Like, what has been unique about your experience with Rise of Kings, or what do you think they're uniquely doing as an organization?
Yeah, man. Rise Up Kings is an incredible organization, so much so that I moved my family from Florida back up here to be a part of it, to help with the vision of awakening a generation of men who lead themselves, their families, and their businesses at the highest level to glorify God. And the transformation that I get to witness in men coming in from the way that they leave is just so impactful and so powerful because, you got guys who are coming in here doing 7, 8, 9 figures a year in their business, but yet their home is broken. Their marriage is a wreck. They're in pain. There's sedation. There's all kinds of different things from alcohol and pornography and drugs and everything that you can think of from a perspective of just sin and how it's represented in our society. And we're dealing with real people, and we create an environment where there's an opportunity for true freedom. So to watch men come in and see their lives completely transformed is such a huge honor. And I pinch myself every time because I get to literally see miracles happen every single time I coach an event.
What is your favorite thing that you get to do in your job now? Like, is it the initial transformation and the hook to the guy, the aha moment, or is it the one-on-one coaching you get to do with business owners? What's like the thing where makes you feel most alive?
Man, one of the things for me that is most impactful is seeing men who decide that they want to commit their lives to Christ, and being a part of that. To me, it is the most impactful, and it's the most important part of what we do. I get to witness men who get to rededicate their lives to the Lord and or give their lives to the Lord for the first time, and really, really, really powerful, really powerful. We had a guy who's 67 years old. He just came through the event 2 weeks ago, and he's Jewish, never committed to Christ. And man, he had a moment where I got an opportunity to be there and lead him in that prayer and see him transform his life and give his life to Christ for the first time at 67
Mm.
years old as a grandfather. And he and I have been talking every single day since. He's sending me pictures of his family, encouraging messages, full of gratitude, like life has completely been transformed. So for me, I would say it's that moment of salvation and rededication that's most impactful
Yeah.
for me. Yeah.
So kind of in our current like state of affairs right now, like what do you think men most need to hear in our current culture, our current cultural moment, I suppose.
100%, man. Like I think men need to know that you're not alone. I think it's easy for us as men to be ostracized and or isolated, to believe that there's not a safe place for us to really find freedom. And I think men need to know that you can be the man that your wife saw when she said yes to you at the altar. You can be the hero to your son. You can be the first love to your daughter. You can set the standard that would transform the legacy of your family. You can be the patriarch. You can be the man that you desire to be. And
Mm.
if you're willing to bet on yourself and put yourself in a position by being in a community of other men who will call you up, not call you out, and lean into the awkward, lean into the space where you feel uncomfortable and get comfortable. That you can truly find the vision that lives on the inside of your heart, and you can see it come to pass.
Yeah. That just reminded me of all the Mondoisms that I remember from the refinery, your little one-liners that you have. What are some other ones? I don't know if you would remember
Another
putting
one, yeah,
them.
man. So I got a couple. So I heard this one from Cindy Trim, and it really changed my life. And it is, could things be the way they are because of the way that you are?
Hmm.
What's the one thing that you can change that will change everything?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Um, Another one that we say commonly here at Ruck is you have to inspect what you expect. Um,
Mm,
yeah. You can pay the price now or later, but if you pay later, the price is greater.
that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Yeah. I don't know. They just come out. They just come out.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Notice the noticer was the one I was like, wait, what the heck do they mean?
Mm,
Notice the noticer. What does that
yeah. I'm a
mean?
notice the noticer. Yes.
I actually picked a fight with Coach Mason about the term showing up. He's like, it was a coaching call with him. I was like, dude, you keep saying showing up, and like, figure out a different way to say that, But that's very much a Rise Up Kings thing too. Like, how are you showing up in your marriage? How are you showing up in your devotional life? Like that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Um, Dude, I actually wanted to talk about AI a little bit. So I know you said you recently did the AI acquisition course. What are you learning?
Yeah, man. I think it's pretty cool. And I also think that it's something that's definitely needed right now. When you think about the internet, kind of exploding like early 2000s. You think about social media kicking off back in the 2010s. Something as simple as email, right? Like email kind of changed the way that we communicate, right? So people did memos before that, right? There were like fax machines. I know if you're under 30 years old, you can go read a history book and find out about that. Go to a library somewhere. People don't even go to libraries anymore. It's like, let's just look it up on Google or ask ChatGPT. But I think that AI is obviously going to be a major part of the fabric of our society. And I feel like it, to me, is a tool. Like there's a lot of different things, like anything, it can be really messy when it first starts. And I think that it will level out in a way where there will be a distinguishing between like the lightness and the dark, right? So just like with social media, like I remember going to church, and I don't know if you ever had this experience where it was like, social media is the devil, like don't look it up. So it was like there was a lot of like, but it really, to me, what it is it's a reflection of the nature of society, right? And there was a lot of evil. There was a lot of things that were not good being posted on social media. But then, man, the light started to shine, right? Like people starting to use it. You see people praying for other people. You see people doing acts of kindness. You see people hosting church services. Even when I think about COVID in 2020, and I think about the power of the internet during that time and social media, like that's how we were able to get the gospel out. So I see AI a lot the same in the regard of there may be some things that are off, like people abusing it and using it in ways that are not,
Totally.
applicable or even recommended. But I think that when I did a deep dive on this and I was asking the question around like AI, I was like, all right, is this the Antichrist? Like, is this evil? Like, the conclusion that I came to, and I'm open to a conversation, I'd love to get your perspective, is that at the end of the day, it is a computer. Now, it's a machine, right? So a machine doesn't have a soul, and it is so fast that it can replicate and mimic human behavior, right? But it's still a machine, and it
Yep.
happens to learn extremely fast and give us really good feedback, scour the internet throughout the entire world in just a matter of seconds, and give you input and respond in a way
Yeah.
that feels human-like. But with that being said, I feel like it's amoral. And what I mean by that is a brick is amoral. A brick in the
Yeah.
hands of a builder can build a house, or it can break in a car window and robbery can take place.
Yeah.
So with that being said, to me, I was like, I feel in my heart that it's a tool that should be utilized and mastered as soon as possible because it's going
Yeah.
to be very prevalent in society. What
I
about you?
agree with you. I mean, I think you mentioned the internet, perfect example, right?
Yeah.
Like the internet is something that has been used to do horrible things,
Yep.
right? And is actively a place where it just you can find anything. And on the other side of that, the amount of good that it can do, right? Knowledge and charitable giving or whatever, right? So same thing with AI. So my, the way I started down this track is after the refinery. So I had my college planning business and I was miserable and I shut that down. And during the prayer time at Skylar's house after the ice bath, one of the many things God said was create freedom for business owners. And so we do that two ways: virtual assistants. I think that's stepping stone one to freedom, a freaking badass executive assistant. And two is AI. I believe AI is just a tool to create freedom. No one has to get fired. No one has to get replaced. I was actually talking to Rise Up Kings about potentially building an AI agent. And one of the concerns was, I don't want this to replace the human touch. And I would say, yes, amen. I never want to build something that like takes away from the human element. But we're just talking about automating something that no one really likes doing, right? Like, who loves answering all the frequently asked questions for people? Which hotel? What happens with the overflow? Blah, blah, blah. Like, that is literally something that we can automate, so that you can do more coaching calls, see more people come to Jesus, do more about whatever it is, have your team be freed up to do something else. So I think that is 100% spot on. It's just a tool to create freedom, not evil. It reminds me, dude, of my little known fact. I wrote my my thesis in college on Christian rap and Reformed theology, and back then Christian rap was still like churches and pastors. Like Lecrae was just like had his first thing coming out. The Cross movement was, who I said to the ambassador from the Cross movement, and it was still like, is this evil rap music? Is it evil? And it's like, and his whole thesis, the ambassador from Cross movement, is like, it's a form of culture. It's a form of expression. It's not inherently good or bad, right? Just a cultural expression. And you can then use that to put God's word in it to encourage, uplift, evangelize, whatever. And so that was like my entire thesis, but it reminds me of that little argument right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's really, really cool.
All right. What else haven't we talked about? What's one thing that gets you fired up that we haven't talked about?
Dude, there's so many. Obviously, family is a major passion. Marriage, children, fitness. Man, I'm passionate about a lot of things. Yeah, really, the four pillars.
Let's talk about family life, because having 11 kids.
Yeah,
2 to 3 broke me. So yeah. What was it, 5 to 6 or 9 to 10, or what was the one that broke you?
Once you go past 2, that's where it breaks the mold, because you go from man to man in zone defense right there. So that's where it breaks the mold. Yeah. You got to put new systems in place. You need to have an entirely new perspective. The way you operate has to change, like everything. So we got a playbook for our family. Like, we literally have SOPs. We have a vision statement, core values. We have a mission statement. Like, our kids understand that as a Davis, we do hard things. We advance. We are victors, not victims. The I am lives inside of us, and we keep it simple. And our kids have that memorized. So if they're ever off course, I'm like, who are you? And they're like, I'm a Davis. I'm like, all right, what do Davises do? All right, Dad, we do hard things. We advance. We're victors, not victims. The I am lives inside of me, and I keep it simple. It's like, all right, so what's a hard thing you're going to do today? I'm going to do my homework, even though I don't feel like it. But it gives us frameworks to relate to them, and also reiterate the value of who they are, so that they understand their identity as young people.
I love that. Amazing. And that's so cool with Ruck. I feel like I'm constantly reminded to come back to my identity. Somehow this recent spat of anger that I had, and I was frustrated about something, it's like they always bring me back to my identity in Christ. So
yeah, it's good stuff.
Well, Mondo, if anybody did want to reach out or had questions after, I don't know if you have like a social media profile or anything that you would direct people to, or would you just put them to the Ruck website, whatever works best?
Yeah, absolutely, man. A couple of different places. So if you guys want to reach out to me directly here at Rise Up Kings, you can obviously go to our website, and you can find us at www.riseupkings.com. And then if you want to find me on social media, you can actually find me at Daily Doses of Dad. So my kids are funny. They secretly recorded me for a week. Type it in right now. Daily Doses.
I'm looking it up on Instagram right now. Is it on Instagram or Facebook? Okay, cool.
Daily Doses of Dad. Type in daily and you'll see it. And yeah, man, there's a pretty cool little insight of my life, and it's more so me in a playful sense, and being able to see what it looks like with me hanging out with 11 kids. And
Bro, almost 40,000 followers. That's good.
It's pretty. And this account is only a week old. It's not even a week old yet. It's like 5 or 6.
And it started by your kids just recording you being like doing dad stuff.
Just literally recording me doing dad stuff. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So they I was like, what are they doing, man? I was like, I kept seeing the camera and these weird. I'm like, what are y'all? I'm like, you know what? I trust my kids. I love them. Whatever. And then they showed me this, and I was like, oh my God. So they just showed me like 2 days ago. I was like, oh my gosh. So anyway, yeah, you can follow me there. You can follow me at Coach Mondo on Instagram, and you can reach out direct, man. I look forward to hearing from you guys.
Thanks. Well, don't go anywhere. I want to keep chatting, but thanks for coming on the podcast.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.